What's good, YouTube? Sensational CLANCY'S here, and I'm back with another Tom Clancy's The Division Vendor Reset video. We're here for September 25th, 2020's Vendor Reset. So let's get right into this to see what we got good for this week. Okay, so for our first gear items, you want to head over to Camp Hudson. Here, the weapons vendor has an extended magazine with 118.50% magazine size, 3% crit hit chance, and 4.90% rate of fire. For our next gear items, we're still at Camp Hudson. Head over to the gear vendor here, and we have a prototype performance mod with 6.50% secret mine explosion radius. For our next gear items, you want to head over to the meat locker. Here, the weapons vendor has a C79 scope with 17% crit hit damage, 2.50% stability, and 6% headshot damage. For our next gear items, you want to head over to the base operations. Here, the Dark Zone gear vendor has an ACR with a gear score of 269. It has 21% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is meticulous, focused, and competent. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the weapons vendor here, and we got an Omega rifle suppressor with 17.50% headshot damage, 2% accuracy, and 4% crit hit damage. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the gear vendor here, and we got a prototype performance mod with 4% mobile cover damage resilience. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the advanced weaponry vendor, and here we got a black market SASG 12S with a gear score of 271. It has 326% stagger, and the talents it has is dominant, brutal, and deadly. Also here we got a heavy magazine spring with 4.50% reload speed, 2.50% crit hit chance, and 9.90% rate of fire. Also here we got Omega rifle suppressor with 17% headshot damage, 2.50% crit hit chance, and 2.50% stability. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the special equipment vendor, and here we got a Liberator with a gear score of 259. It has 19% enemy armor damage. And the talents it has is focused, unforgiving, and commanding. Also here we got a Cassidy with a gear score of 271. It has 309.50% stagger, and the talents it has is responsive, competent, and boomstick. Also here we got a Pecan. If you like to run this weapon, it has a gear score of 274. It has 20% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is sustained, vicious, and Pecan. Also here we got a Historian with a gear score of 275. It has 148% headshot damage, and the talents it has is swift, deadly, and Historian repeats. Also here we got Navy MP5N with a gear score of 277. It has 20% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is brutal, deadly, and capable. Also here we got a military MK46 with a gear score of 267. It has 21% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is vicious, destructive, and talented. Also here we got a Spec Ops mask with the talent Enduring on there. It has a gear score of 269. The armor is 876. Its roll for electronics 1247, and the attributes it has is skill power and damage to elites. Also here we got a Spec Ops pack with the talent Relentless on there. It has a gear score of 276. The armor is 1300. Its roll for firearms 1193, and the attributes it has is health and burn resistance. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 4% secret mine damage. Also here we got an extended magazine with 113% magazine size, 4.50% reload speed, and 2.50% crit hit chance. Also here we got a vertical grip with 47% optimal range, 5% reload speed, and 2% accuracy. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the special blueprints vendor, and here we got an electronics vest blueprint with a gear score of 256. We also got a vertical grip foliage green blueprint with a power level 34. We also got an MK4M5A2 scope with a power level 34. For our next gear items, you want to head over to Camp Clinton. Here, the special equipment vendor has a Pecan. If you like to run this weapon, it has a gear score of 269. It has 20% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is Adept, Unforgiving, and Pecan. Also here we got a Black Market T821. If you like to run this weapon, it has a gear score of 264. It has 18.50% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is Deadly, Fierce, and Swift. Also here we got an M870 Express with a gear score of 267. It has 351% stagger, and the talents it has is Vicious, Brutal, and Trained. Also here we got a Black Market RPK 74E with a gear score of 274. It has 20% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is Determined, Deadly, and Fierce. Also here we got a Spec Ops mask with the talent Refreshed on there. It has a gear score of 278. The armor is 938. Its roll for electronics 1247, and the attributes it has is exotic damage resilience and blind death resistance. Also here we got an operator vest with the talent Rapid on there. It has a gear score of 283. The armor is 1965. Its roll for stamina 1264, And the attributes this has is all resistance, health, and increased kill XP. Also here we got an operator pack with the talent specialized on there. It has a gear score of 269. The armor is 1,216. Its roll for firearms 1,136. And the attributes this has is stability and disrupt resistance. Also here we got a heavy magazine spring with 4.50% reload speed, 2.50% crit hit chance, and 10.60% rate of fire. Also here we got a mega rifle suppressor with 17% headshot damage, 4% crit hit damage, and 3% crit hit chance. Also here we got a small grip with 17% crit hit damage, 2% accuracy, and 5% reload speed. For our next gear items, we're still at Camp Clinton. Head over to the special blueprints vendor, and here we got a firearms mask blueprint with a gear score of 256. We also got electronics gloves blueprint with a gear score of 256. For our next gear items, you want to head over to Dante's Run. Here the gear vendor has a Spec Ops armor with the talent Rapid on there. It has a gear score of 270. The armor is 1,782. Its roll for stamina 1,242. And the attributes this has is health, health on kill, and increased kill XP. And also here we got a prototype electronics mod with 257 electronics and 3,202 skill power. For our next gear items, you want to head over to Wolf's Den. Here the weapons vendor has a surplus SVD with a gear score of 269. It has 161% headshot damage, and the talents it has is fierce, dominant, and discipline. For our next gear items, you want to head over to Autumn's Hope. Here the gear vendor has a prototype stamina mod with 211 stamina and 3% damage to elites. For our next gear items, you want to head over to the Last Call. Here the weapons vendor has a G36 enhanced with a gear score of 263. It has 20% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is brutal, self-preserved, and focused. For our next gear items, you want to head over to the Ward. Here the gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 5.50% first aid self-heal. For our next gear items, you want to head over to the Grindhouse. Here the weapons vendor has an enhanced ACRE with a gear score of 261. It has 21% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is skilled, responsive, and fierce. And also here we got a small grip with 17% crit hit damage, 2.50% stability, and 2% accuracy. For our next gear items, you want to head over to the Firewall. Here the gear vendor has a Spec Ops pack with the talent specialized on there. It has a gear score of 268. The armor is 1,213. Its roll for electronics 1,130. And the attributes it has is crit hit damage and burn resistance. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 7% support station duration. For our next gear items, you want to head over to the Crypt. Here the weapons vendor has a heavy magazine spring with 5% reload speed, 3% crit hit chance, and 9.30% rate of fire. For our next gear items, you want to head over to West 31st Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a Burst Fire MP5A4 if you like to run this type of weapon. This one has a gear score of 271. It has 21% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is competent, talented, and fierce. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 4% support station healing speed. For our next gear items, you want to head over to West 39th Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a converted SMG9A2 with a gear score of 265. It has 22.50% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is deadly, ferocious, and predatory. Also here we got a tactical vest with the talent Reckless on there. It has a gear score of 273. The armor is 1,873. Its roll for electronics 1,151. And the attributes this has is exotic damage resilience, all resistance, and ammo capacity. For our next gear items, you want to head over to West 46th Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has an AUG A3 Power XS with a gear score of 264. It has 20% crit hit chance. The talents it has is brutal, ferocious, and vicious. Also here we got some Spec Op gloves with the talent Savage on there. They have a gear score of 263. The armor is 859. Its roll for stamina 1,150. And the attributes this has is crit hit damage, crit hit chance, and pistol damage. For our next gear items, you will head over to East 64th Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone Gear mod vendor has a prototype performance mod with 7.50% support station range. For our next gear items, you will head over to East 58th Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone Gear vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the talent refreshed on there. It has a gear score of 276. The armor is 938. Its roll for electronics 1,251. And the attributes this has is exotic damage resilience and burn resistance. Also here we got a Spec Ops armor with the talent Rapid on there. It has a gear score of 266. The armor is 1,781. Its roll for stamina 1,221. And the attributes this has is health on kill, skill haste, and increased kill XP. Also here we got a Spec Ops pack with the talent specialized on there. It has a gear score of 267. The armor is 1,199. Its roll for electronics 1,170. And the attributes this has is stability and ammo capacity. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to the Park Ave checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone Weapons vendor has an MP5 ST with a gear score of 258. It has 19% crit hit chance, and the talents this has is responsive, predatory, and brutal. Also here we got a military G36 with a gear score of 279. It has 21% enemy armor damage. The talents this has is unforgiving, talented, and focused. Also here we got a hunting M44 with a gear score of 282. It has 167% headshot damage. And the talents this has is destructive, trained, and vicious. And also here we got a military M60E4 with a gear score of 262. It has 20% damage to targets out of cover. And the talents this has is destructive, predatory, and ferocious. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to East 53rd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype performance mod with 4% seeker mine damage. And then also here we got a timer suppressor with 7% crit hit chance, 2.50% stability, and 4.50% optimal range. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to East 42nd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Tenacious on there. It has a gear score of 271. The armor is 892. Its roll for stamina 1227. And the attributes this has is crit hit chance and damage to elites. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 6% sticky bomb explosion radius. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to East 40th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a Spec Ops pack with the talent Specialized on there. It has a gear score of 278. The armor is 1260. Its roll for stamina 1271. And the attributes this has is crit damage and ammo capacity. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to East 34th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a custom M870 MCS with a gear score of 277. It has 290.50% stagger. And the talents this has is adept, accurate, and brutal. Also here we got a prototype electronics mod with 266 electronics and 2.50% exotic damage resilience. And also we got a rugged mini reflex sight with 7% crit hit chance, 4% crit hit damage, and 4.50% optimal range. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to the 5th Ave checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype performance mod with 2% pulse crit hit damage. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to DZ2 Safe Room. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Tenacious on there. It has a gear score of 277. The armor is 972. Its roll for stamina 1190. And the attributes this has is all resistance to damage to elites. Also here we got a gunslinger vest with the talent Reckless on there. It has a gear score of 272. The armor is 1953. Its roll for stamina 1156. And the attributes this has is enemy armor damage, exotic damage resilience, and ammo capacity. Also here we got a tactical pack with the talent Inventive on there. It has a gear score of 277. The armor is 1300. Its roll for firearms 1220. And the attributes this has is crit damage and ammo capacity. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to DZ3 Safe Room. Here the Dark Zone Weapons vendor has a black market AK-74 with a gear score of 260. It has 19% enemy armor damage. And the talents this has is predatory, responsive, and competent. Also here we got a tactical Super 90 SBS with a gear score of 267. It has 347% stagger. And the talents this has is unforgiving, accurate, and fierce. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to DZ5 Safe Room. Here the Dark Zone Weapon Mod vendor has a large suppressor FDE with 18% crit hit damage, 2.50% stability, and 2% accuracy. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to DZ8 Safe Room. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the talent Enduring on there. It has a gear score of 266. The armor is 915. Its roll for stamina 1114. And the attributes this has is exotic damage resilience and burn resistance. And also here we got an operator pack with the talent Relentless on there. It has a gear score of 267. The armor is 1136. Its roll for stamina 1239. And the attributes this has is crit damage and ammo capacity. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to DZ9 Safe Room. Here the Dark Zone Weapon Mod vendor has an extended magazine with 121% magazine size, 4% crit hit damage, and 5.40% rate of fire. Also, we got a large suppressor FDE with 18% crit hit damage, 2.50% crit hit chance, and 5% optimal range. And also, we got a 5.52 hollow sight with 7% crit hit chance, 2.50% stability, and 4% crit hit damage. Alright everybody, that's it for our Tom Clancy's The Division Vendor Reset video for September 25th, 2020's Vendor Reset. I hope everybody who tuned into it found them something that they needed. Smash on that sub and like button, y'all. Appreciate that support. Y'all can check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I stream on Twitch sometimes. I appreciate y'all coming through there and check me out. And I'll see y'all with the next one. Everybody take care. Peace.